Hey everyone, I decided to make a YouTube channel to try and help people navigate my favorite game. I want to start off by listing the strongest beginner builds I know. All of them can be acquired in the early game, namely within Limgrave, Weeping Peninsula, Caelid, and Dragonbarrow. Most beginners get hit a lot, which not only prevents them from dealing damage, but also leads them to dying and then possibly rage quitting the game. This is why I think it's only fair that a newcomer starts off with an easy build that doesn't require a lot of dodging and switches to a more challenging build once they have learned the game. Instead of staying close to a boss and attempting to roll at the right time, you can instead run away and attack from afar. The meteorite staff has the best intelligence scaling in the early game, doesn't need weapon upgrades and boosts gravity sorceries. Pair it up with the sorcery called rock sling, and you got a build with good range, HP damage and poise damage. Getting the staff and the sorcery doesn't require fighting anyone. Later on, I recommend switching to the regal scepter and comet or night comet. Another alternative to dodging is simply face tanking. To do that, your attacks have to be uninterruptible. The popular choice is the Ash of War called Lion's Claw. It's best used on the greatsword, which has a high attack rating and deals good poise damage. Getting the greatsword is easy, but to get the Ash of War, you need to defeat a formidable enemy. Might as well use any other build from the list to do that. Later in the game, I would switch to a rusted anchor or a giant crusher. Here you can see me with the winged scythe. Its Ash of War is uninterruptible too, but also triggers blood loss. To get the weapon, you simply need to open a chest. It deals holy damage, which falls off in the late game, so I recommend maybe switching to the grave scythe if you like scythes. Moving on, this Ash of War is called Endure. I recommend pairing it up with spiked caestus. You can easily buy both. Not only does it make you uninterruptible, but also heavily increases your damage reduction. The spiked caestus has blood buildup and breaks poise like crazy, but for that you need to rely on charged heavy attacks. Once you progress further, you can switch to hook claws, or better yet, bloodhound claws in case you want a faster playstyle. Then, I recommend using the light attacks. Last, but not least, Dragon Communion Seal with the dragonmaw. To get them, you need to kill a knight and a dragon, but then you get an uninterruptible, cool incantation that can carry you through the whole game. However, this build suffers from a high FP cost. These builds do well even without spirit ashes and rolling, so feel free to stack as much heavy armor as you want. When it comes to talismans, I suggest Radagon's Soar Seal, Crimson Amber, and Dragon Crest Shield talismans. As for the Physic Flask, I recommend Stone Barb, Crimson Burst, and Opaline Hardtear. Just don't use the Stone Barb tear if you rely on light attacks. They deal little poise damage. If you do a lot of charged heavy attacks, then you need the Axe Talisman and the Spiked Cracked Tear. Furthermore, upgrading some good Spirit Ashes makes the game much easier. In my opinion, the Headless is the best Spirit Ash in the early game, but it has a high FP cost and requires 17 mind. Don't forget to put the Golden Vow Ash of War on a dagger as well. If you don't know what something means or where to find something, just look it up on YouTube or the Fextralife website. The link is in the description.